Let's get right into the ad formats that we already have. If you've already seen this page on our site, you know that this is where we showcase a lot of our new ad formats. Right away, you see this ad right here, kind of promoting a webinar. This is our roadblock ad, so this can be used as an interstitial or kind of a pop-up. You can rate limit how many times the user sees this ad, so it can be once per hour, or once per day, or it's really the number of times you want the user to see it per time period, which is specified in seconds. So it's a roadblock ad. And then let's just roll through. We have an extra ad that we just released after the morning session, so you guys are going to be able to see a new format that we built in the few hours between the morning session and the afternoon session. We have the flipper here. So this was the first time ad format we ever put out that you can thank Howard at the Batavian for suggesting. And I'll talk about where we get our ideas for a lot of these formats, but it's really, a lot of it comes from our publishers. Our publishers are the ones who pitch us these ideas. They say, this is something I think could really work for our advertisers, and we like to implement these kind of things. Our scratch off ad, in this, you can scratch off and reveal a little message that you can type. You can customize the message, obviously, underneath, and you can also specify the image that'll be scratched off. You have your coupon. Coupon's handy. All you need is text. You don't need any designers. The table listing. So if you have a theater or a restaurant, menu items, sports schedules, all those kind of things, when you click on it, you can either click through to the user's website or the advertiser's website, or you can have this table appear with a full listing of whatever events you have. Again, this doesn't require any images or any assets or any designer. All you have to do is type in the data, and we do the rest. Click to enlarge. This is one that was fairly successful for Roosevelt Islander, if Rick is on the call. This was used for a grocery store circular on Roosevelt Island, just outside of Manhattan. And when you click on it, it'll take you to a larger version of the circular. So that one I'll talk about the performance of some of these, but typically the performance is very encouraging. YouTube ad, you have an advertiser as a YouTube video, very handy. The lazy ad, all you need is an image. So I just uploaded an image of a nice little house. I just uploaded an image of a nice house, added some text in there, and bam, I had a 300 by 250. And then the slideshow, which goes through a few different slides. The swapper, mouse over, shows you a second slide. Add with text. And let's just get back to the presentation. So those are the ad forms we have available now. Like I said, we have one more. Oh, there's also this guy at the top, this little ribbon up here. That's also a different ad format. So we're coming out with these probably at the rate of about once per week. But a lot of our ideas come from you guys. But the real question is, why would you actually want to use these? So the biggest reason is performance. So more readers tend to take interest in things that don't look like ads. And that's something that we have realized at Broadstreet. The things that are more informational, that don't appear to be a standard banner ad, tend to get the higher click-through rates. So how many ads have you seen on a local news website that have a picture of, it might be a picture of the restaurant or something at the restaurant, and it'll have the address, the phone number, and all that information crammed into the ad. And it's been that way for 6 months to a year or several years. And eventually those click-through rates are not going to be very encouraging when you go back to the advertiser and say, hey, it's time to re-up for another 6 months. Those click-through rates are probably going to be, 0.1%. If you're lucky, it might be 0.05%. People are less interested in something they've already seen a million times. So performance is very encouraging. I'll talk about that on the next slide. Ad pricing, it's a way to upsell. A lot of publishers are kind of stuck in this rut where they've been charging $300 a month or maybe $400 or $500 a month for some time now. Their traffic might have really taken a leap. Maybe they're doing twice as much traffic as they were 6 months ago. But it's kind of hard to explain that to your advertiser who might not be so savvy. You're trying to tell them that twice as many people are going to see the ad, and you really want to justify a rate increase. Sometimes the easiest way to do a rate increase is to sell a completely different kind of ad, not just a standard banner ad, but something a little more special. The differentiation, this is something Broadstreet's huge on, making yourself different than your competitors. I always used to talk about Patch. What was Patch selling? They're selling 300 by 250 banner ads. And if you're selling the exact same thing as Patch, it kind of makes it's almost like a toss-up for the advertiser. You know, they can support you because maybe you're a little more local, you're genuine, you're indie. But it's still, you know, for the advertiser, sometimes they, you know, maybe they don't care about that. You don't want your only point of differentiation to be your audience and your brand. You also want to provide a better product than anybody else's too. And then finally, necessity. So most publishers are starting to see that a lot of their traffic is coming from mobile, 40, 50. So that's kind of a big deal. And most of us know that standard banner ads on the internet right now don't actually look that good. If you have a 728 by 90 banner ad, that's one of those long, thin ones at the top. If you've ever seen them on a mobile device like an iPhone or an Android, it looks hideous. So there has to be something better than standard banner ads for mobile, and that's where we're moving with these ad formats. And finally, time and cost control. A lot of these formats don't require any designers, which is a really big deal. You don't have to have that little creative fee that you have to stick to the advertiser, or you don't have to have it eat out of the margin that you have on your $300 or $400 ad. A lot of these don't require any designer whatsoever. So on performance, these banner ads, they've only been out for about 2 months, and the new ad formats are getting on average about a 12x click-through rate compared to all standard banner ads on Broadstreet over the last 2 years. So the performance is just through the roof compared to standard banner ads. So even if you have the 1/12 the traffic of a competitor, if the performance of the ad is 12x, then you can justify the same prices as your competitor. You can justify, basically being in the same league as your competitor because they just perform that well. When I talk about 12x, we're talking about often in the whole percentages. So 1 to 5%. If you have any background in digital advertising, you know that whole click-through rates, whole percentages are outrageous. 1 to 5%. 5% is practically unheard of. 1% is possible, but between 1 and 5% is what we typically see for these new ad formats. Highest performers by far, the roadblock ad, the YouTube ad, and the click to enlarge ad. So on pricing, a lot of publishers ask us, and keep in mind while I'm talking, any questions that you have, just type them into that little chat box. Just click the little chat bubble on the Join Me control panel. And like I said, I'm keeping an eye on it while I'm talking. So a lot of publishers ask us, how do I actually price these things? How are other publishers pricing? And we've always seen there's 3 ways they're typically used. One is that it's used as a throw-in for an existing prospect. So you have an advertiser who might be on the fence, and you say, okay, you know what? Instead of a standard banner ad, I'll make it a roadblock ad, or I'll make it flip, or I'll do something like that. So they just kind of throw it in. Luckily, the cost of these ad formats is generally always between $0 and $10, so it's not like it's taking a huge cut out of your ad rate. But it's just used as a throw-in, get them over the fence, close the deal. So some publishers have used it in that way. The other ones use it as an upsell, talking about that rate increase. So you might have a $300 a month rate before. Maybe the flipper is an extra $100 a month, or maybe the roadblock is $800 a month. The point is, use that product to really increase your ad rates. And then others, Red Bank Green had done this first. They just turned, the ticket and made it a completely separate product. So they took our lazy ad, which all you need is a photo. You upload a photo and add some text. It generates an ad for you. And they just called them quickie ads. And so they go around town, and it's a lower cost ad. They all kind of look the same, but you get your presence on redbankgreen.com. And they rebranded them entirely as quickie ads, and that's totally fine. We love when publishers do that kind of stuff. It's very creative. And if it helps the publisher, that's what we're in business for. So on differentiation, I said this is so huge to Broadstreet. the co-founders of Broadstreet, me and we have a background in digital media and digital advertising, and right now, digital advertising is going through this long process of commoditization. So there are 650 million active websites online right now, and I would bet you that most of them are running 300 by 250s. So what you can imagine is that when there's that much supply, the ultimate price of digital advertising is going to go down. So when you go to your advertiser, what that means is that they have the ability to buy through an ad exchange or something like that for a much cheaper price with really tight targeting. They can do all kinds of targeting, and they can say, well, you know what, I can buy the exact same product on an exchange for a much cheaper price. And what we want to do with these ad formats, you can't buy these ad. So if you're providing value to your advertiser, something that they can't really compare with what they can get through an exchange, makes it much more difficult for your advertiser to make that, that financial decision. If you're giving them a roadblock, how are they going to get a roadblock anywhere else? Or how are they going to get an ad that flips? Or how are they going to get an ad with no design fee? So, when we want to make your ad products more valuable and completely incomparable to what your competitors might have, or what your national exchange-based competitors might have. So ideally, the products that you sell can't be compared with your competitors, and also they seem much more valuable. So number one question we get is, actually, I see a comment here in the chat. We're selling Lazy Ad in 1 week increments. It's a great entree to what we can do for them, and super affordable. So that's good to hear. And yeah, I like that just because, like I said, it's designer-less. You don't need a designer. It's pretty easy. All you need is a photo. And you know what? We'll do a demo with that later on. In general, like I said, this is the number one question we get when it comes to the ad formats. There are no strict requirements in terms of the ad sizes. On our example page, we have a lot of 300 by 250s. That doesn't mean it has to be a 300 by 250. If you need the BaristaNet has the big box, the 350 by 300, completely made up ad dimensions. We can work with that. It's whatever ad size that you need, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So there are no strict requirements. Whatever ad sizes you're working with, it really depends on the theme that you're working with, but you know better than we do what sizes you need, and you can very often customize the size of the ad. A lot of times all we ask for is a couple photos, and you type in the size of the ad that you want, and we'll make it happen. Only thing you have to keep in mind is that for images, keep it to the standard JPEG, GIF, and PNGs. And some formats, like the coupon that you saw before, they just require text. When we're building these things, we always keep it mobile friendly. So no matter what ad format it is, with very few exceptions, we always make it so that it works or behaves well on mobile. So the Flipper, for example, there's no real hover concept on a touch device if you're using an iPad or something like that. So if you click on the Flipper ad, it'll flip over. You click one more time, it'll take it to the advertiser's website. They're always free to try, so a lot of questions about pricing. So if you create one of these in our dashboard and you're just playing around in the dashboard, it's free. It's not until it actually serves, and it actually has to serve quite a few times. If it serves more than 100 times per day, then it's billable for that day only. So you can have it on your website. You can probably have it in your rate kit for free. We'll talk about rate kits later. But if you're a publisher who doesn't have, maybe an upstart, doesn't have a lot of traffic yet, chances are it's going to be free for you. But it's only billable if it serves more than 100 times per day. And it's also prorated for the month. So if it's a $5 a month ad and it only runs for 2 weeks, it's going to be $2.50 for the month. So if you're not using it, you don't get charged. And then monthly prices, they're very affordable. We try to make these as affordable as we possibly could. You can always count on stencils generally being between $0 and $10. A couple of them are free, and the max that we have so far is $10. Usually the prices are based on the effort that it takes to implement and test. We try to test on all the devices that we possibly can, and also the eventual ad server load. Obviously, if it's a really complicated or asset-heavy kind of ad, we have to take that into account when it's serving, because our bandwidth costs go up. So Keep those questions coming if you have any. We're going to go right into actually creating one of these things. So let's go into our dashboard. All right, so we have a demo advertiser. First thing I should note is that when you're using Broadstreet's dashboard, you can actually go down here. You'll probably see this, the see what we can do. Note. There's our roadblock. It's essentially the same thing that we have on our website, but if we want to create one of these things, let's just scroll down to the coupon. We'll go over here and we'll just click here. It says create this now for ad formats advertiser. I'll just call it session 2 coupon. So remember, the coupon only has text in it, and we kind of saw it before. So why don't we just give it, just type in some text here, say ad formats, special, subtitle, all formats, free forever. And then we'll say this, some example text for example purposes. Maybe I'll just paste that twice just so we have. And then notice how I can actually just set the width and the height right here. It says 300 by 250. I can set the fine print. Should the coupon, when the user clicks, should it open in a new window? Right now it's set to yes. And we have the link right there. So we can just leave the defaults. Most of the ad formats, you can actually just create the advertisement. It'll use the defaults and go in and customize that later. So here's the coupon we just created, and this behaves really nicely on mobile devices. In fact, if you click it on an iPhone or something like that, it'll open up and kind of look like a coupon, and the user can screenshot it and take it into the merchant. But in terms of that customization, you saw I just entered in all that information there. But if I had some, different ad size, if I had, 350, like I said before, by 300, all I have to do is type that in and save. And I'll have a slightly bigger coupon this time, right? And what's actually cool is that if you make the advertiser an administrator of their account right here, so you go in here and you type or you click edit advertiser. If you add them as an administrator on this right side here, they can actually modify their own. They can see their own reports. They can also edit the text inside their coupon. So if you are using Broadstreet's ad server, you can actually just go down to Quick Campaign. I have an example site set up over here. So it's called Broadstreet Demo. Let me move my little Join Me control panel out of the way. So we'll go down here and we'll just say top right. Example. There we go. There we go. And we'll see that it appears right on that page. When we click on it, oh, I did leave it at the 350 by 300. That's fine. This site only supports 300 by 250. But when you click on it, you can imagine on iPhone, it might look, it'll probably look something like this. We'll crunch it down. So then the user could screenshot that or bring it into the advertiser. So that's really all there was. Most of the ad formats are just like that. And now that I see a few more questions coming in, let's take a look. All right, viewer 30, is it possible to use Broadstreet ads on Weebly hosted sites? If so, how can a publisher be certain that the metrics are accurate? So in terms of being certain the metrics are accurate, our ad server obviously tracks all the metrics. So you could probably try and compare with Google Analytics. I can tell you that I have very high confidence in our metrics in terms of the clicks and views. So that's kind of, it's kind of our word, but you could probably also do your own investigation if you're really interested using something like Google Analytics. And if you're using Weebly, you could probably actually, it depends on if Weebly lets you put JavaScript in your, if Weebly lets you put JavaScript in a widget or something in your sidebar, you can actually just copy, you can just get the ad code directly instead of running it in like a zone, like many of our publishers do because they're using our ad server. You can just click get ad code and copy that right there. And if that doesn't work, you can always use the iframe. So there you go. So Weebly should support that. And if it doesn't, there's probably a little bit of a workaround. Can you use coupon format for image like the Christie's supermarket flyer? So let's see. So I guess the question is, can you put an image in the coupon? We actually had that requested early on. So I'll ask that question to viewer 22. You said, can you use the coupon format for an image like the Christie's supermarket flyer? My question is, do you mean, can I put an image in the coupon? And I did have that requested early on today, and I did say I would make note of that and work that in as soon as I could. And then last question is, can you demo the makeup of the movie timetable ad? So I say, why not? So let's go in here. Let's go to the movie timetable ad. We'll go to new advertisement. So I forget it's called the listing / table ad. So we'll create a new ad. There's actually a lot of options here, but I'll show you what happens when you click create a new ad. It looks like there's a whole lot of stuff to input, but you can actually just go like this. Just scroll right down, create advertisement. We have all kinds of if you wanted to. You can see that it generates the ad automatically, and that will go in and will actually, so that, that required almost zero effort to actually create that kind of ad. But let's go in and change the data. Let's change it. Let's see. What should we use? I already had movies in there. Let's say game. Let's see. What should I do? Game date time. So all I'm doing is typing in comma separated data, and I'm going to say New York Jets versus New York Giants. Notice how it's all comma separated. November, just typing in random things. November 14th at 2 p.m. So we'll just copy that a few times. It will pick somebody on the 49ers versus Oakland. And let's just pick one more. Bears versus Green Bay. All right, so we'll go down here. We'll say fake NFL football times. All right, I'll go back here. We'll see how that works out. Should work out. There we go. So it actually just broke that up and created a table. And when I click on it, it'll give me it'll show the schedule in full. Now, what's cool is that I can actually go, if I don't want it to do that, I can just say, maybe it goes to NFL.com instead. That would make a lot of sense. So that's what we'll do. It says open in pop-up. No, and then take the link to NFL.com, update the advertisement. So now, when I click on it, it should take me to NFL.com, hopefully. Oh, hey. All right, cool. So that's an example of the table ad, and you can add, there are many options, and I won't go through all of them, but if I had maybe 20 different listings, I can limit it to 5 right here, and then when the user clicks on it, they see all 20. Just I'm calling the Broadstreet number. So let's get back to, maybe we should do one more, just the flipper, because a lot of people have questions about that. It'll take 2 seconds. And then we'll get back on track. So the flipper, we'll just pick the front image. So it only takes 2 images, the front and the back. Oh, you know what? Instead of doing that, instead of doing the flipper, why don't I'll showcase the new ad that nobody else saw yet, at least nobody from the morning session. Where is it? It's called the Lazy Featured Box Ribbon. So let's go right here. We'll upload an image. It's the Lazy ad. All you need is a photo. So I have a photo called Big House with Pool. And this is really handy for real estate. So, you know, we want to make things that look really good. So if a real estate agent just has a picture of the house or a really attractive picture, we want to make it really easy for them to showcase it. You can customize the ribbon where it links to all of this stuff. But for the most part, like I said, you can just stick to the defaults. So wait for that. And you can see it says featured listing. The text isn't necessarily relevant anymore, but if I want to change featured listing to say gigantic house, so I'm just very persistent. Okay, and then you can see I changed the ribbon text there. So this is a new format we came out with. If you have any real estate advertisers or somebody that you're looking to pitch, really handy. So we'll be talking about it. We'll be showcasing it on our website. So let's get back very quickly. I know we're a little over time, so we'll go through them very quickly. Showcasing them in a rate kit. I don't know if Virginia is on the line, but some of our publishers are showcasing them. In fact, when you go to that See What We Can Do link down here, you can see that we provide this little code snippet right here, and it says, provide that little code snippet, and it says, add this to your online media kit right there. So you can copy that and paste it into a WordPress post or something like that. You can do the same thing with the scratch up. And what you'll eventually get something like this. So this is my Verona NJ. They pasted in the ad code that we had right there. So you can work it into a rate kit and kind of show your advertisers what you have available to give them to that product. All right, so let's talk about, I really want to get to the the Q&A/feature section. So in terms of the future, so what are we going to be coming out with in the future? A big part of it is mobile. So we have a very, very heavy focus on mobile. Like I mentioned before, most ads look horrible in mobile, especially the traditional banner ads that we see online. So we have a very heavy focus on mobile. The next 3 ads at least are going to be mobile specific ads. Ad specific event metrics, this is something we might see down the line, but we want to start tracking the, for YouTube, how many times have people played it? How far did they get through the video? Those little event metrics that you can show to your advertisers and provide that data that nobody else is essentially providing. Gamified ads. So, how can we turn some ads into games? How can we make it easy and kind of designerless? Smartphone updates. So this is actually a huge feature that's coming out for Broadstreet. It's coming out in the next few months. It's called Laser Beam. We've been working on it for a while, but we want to focus on these ad formats first. So Laser Beam has something to work with. But imagine that coupon ad. Imagine that your advertiser could update the content of the coupon from their phone. All right, that'd be a very powerful thing, and they can just do it whenever they want. Now, you could also set it up so there's an approval process involved, but many publishers just trust their advertisers. So imagine they can update that coupon, or for that real estate ad I just showed you. Imagine the real estate agent could take a picture of the house and post it, and it immediately goes live right on your site, and it's all from this app we're working on called Laser Beam. In terms of category-specific ads, we're thinking obviously very heavily about real estate, but we're thinking about those categories that we know publishers are after. A lot of publishers are after restaurants. A lot of them are after real estate. So we're thinking specifically, okay, for real estate, what can we do for that? What can we do for restaurants? What can we do, for retail? Can we work in, maybe you can upload a few pictures of different products and add pricing and things like that. So we are thinking in those categories. So I have a question. It says, am I recommending that publishers start selling mobile-only advertising? Not necessarily. I think publishers tend to know their own area better than we do. But I am thinking that if you have advertisers that are, very interested in the mobile portion of it, or if you have something that you would really love to showcase on mobile for whatever reason it is, we want to start providing those options at least to the publisher. There are some publishers that do divide their inventory between mobile inventory and desktop inventory, but we just want to provide the option, especially because mobile is becoming so important. And many publishers do have the complaint that their theme doesn't adequately place ads in the mobile context. So maybe your sidebar ads all get pushed down to the side, such a common complaint. And we're trying to help publishers work around that problem. So the future specifically, we have a wallpaper ad that I don't have listed here. We have the wallpaper ad that we're working on. So that's, a few publishers have asked. We want a page takeover / wallpaper ad, in the background. That's something that you tend to see on, maybe national sites, but you don't really see it so much on the smaller sites typically because it requires developers. But we're working on making that happen for you guys. Mobile ribbons, basically little ribbons that pop up on the bottom, something that, catches the user's attention and doesn't mess up the layout on mobile content tracking. This is suggested to us for publishers who are doing native posts, or not necessarily native posts, sponsored posts. It's not so much an ad, but a way to track almost analytics wise the performance of your sponsored posts and things like that, and also some ads for content promotion for the content that you already have on your site. But we always take the suggestions from our publishers. We always take them very seriously. In fact, the flipper, I mentioned that was a publisher suggestion. The table ad, that was another publisher's suggestion. So any ideas that come our way, if we can think of a way that it would appeal to a lot of different publishers, then we're going to create it. So a few examples. Here is the flipper. Here's an example of the flipper in real estate, and let's see if it looks familiar. The ad we just put out, they also have the featured listing ribbon. It flips around. And if you are watching your own ad being demoed, I thank you ahead of time for letting us use it as an example, or I thank you retroactively. This is a really interesting one from the Batavian. If you've ever seen the Batavian website, Howard O's the Batavian, they have quite a few ads on the front page, about 150. And as the advertiser, you might start, you might wonder, is my ad really being seen? Well, they have a game that they do every week. And when you mouse over the ad, it'll flip around. Only one of these ads out of 150, when you mouse over, it'll say email Paulo to howard@thebatavian.com. And I believe the salesperson for the Batavian was on earlier in the day and said their readers have really taken to it, that they love that game. It's been very successful up in Batavia. So that's kind of an interesting way. It's not, we didn't really think that's how it would be used, but it's really interesting that that publishers are being innovative and kind of using these things to make it more gamified, make it interesting. Because now readers definitely are looking at your advertising. And because Broadstreet does the hover metric, we track the number of hovers over an ad. Those hover metrics are going through the roof right now. So the expandable, let me go back. The roadblock ad, I think this is from PV Post. So we have a pizza promotion. This is when he went to PV Post, or at least one part of PV Post. You would see this promotion. So it's very attractive. Like I said, you can rate limit it, control how many times it shows up to the user. And then the YouTube ad. This is, when I was talking about stats and how the YouTube ad is such a high performer, I think it's because it looks like YouTube. And this Newman Springs, this is a nearby town, Newman Springs Dental Care. This ad got so many clicks. It was in around 1 or 2%, I believe, click-through rate, and it just performed so well. And I was amazed considering it's a dental ad that it performed that well. But I think it has to do a lot with that. It looked like YouTube. It's innocent. Everyone knows what a YouTube video is going to do when you click on it. It's going to start playing. So it doesn't really seem like an ad. And how many advertisers do you have that have some YouTube video that's floating around on YouTube somewhere that nobody's watching? A lot of them paid to have it made. It's about a minute or two, and it has 100 views. And this is a great way to showcase that ad. So this ad performed extremely well, and all you need to do is paste in a YouTube link. So you just go to YouTube, you copy the link from the address bar, or you go to the little share button and get the share link. You paste that into YouTube, and all of a sudden you have a YouTube ad. You can say any dimensions you want to. You can say 300 by 250, 500 by 600, whatever you need it to be. We can work with. So the coupon, we saw that before. The easy ad, just have add a photo. We saw that before. Table, well, maybe we'll just click easy ad. I think this is Red Bank Greens. Very simple. It says Red Bank Tango glasses. All they did was upload a picture for, this is one of those quickie ads I was talking about. All they did was upload a photo and set the dimensions, and they have an ad ready to go. No designer. And finally, that top ribbon, which we saw earlier, this is, I believe, Chris Helms at Jamaica Plain News. Just used this to promote his newsletter. And so even using these things for hashtags is pretty clever sometimes. So I liked this. It just appeared at the top of the page, and you can imagine Chris's website appearing below that. So at this point, let's open it up to questions or comments. I'm always interested in feature requests or even feedback. So what I will do is I will unmute everybody, and we'll see who has the train running in the background, which always seems to happen. So we'll see if there's a lot of feedback, and if there is, I'll mute everybody, and you can begin to ask questions via the little chat box. All right, so doing a little test to see if I can hear my own voice, and I'm surprised that I can't. So if anybody has any questions, we're in conversation mode. Any feedback, I'd be happy to answer them now.
I have a question.
Sure.
I have a client that we had the flipper ad, the real estate ad that you showed, and I have a client that was thinking of using that, but rotating it in have three ads going at one time, but they would rotate. Do you follow what I'm saying? Sort of like a slideshow? Yes, exactly.
Oh, right. So we actually have that exact format, and I can show you. So we'll just slide to the bottom here. Where is it? Here it is, the slideshow. So the slideshow can take up to 5 different ads or images.
And can you put the flipper ad in each one of those?
That won't work.
That will not work.
No, but at least the slideshow part of it will. So we don't do the slideshow and the flipper, but either the slideshow or the flipper.
Slideshow is kind of a rotating ad.
Right. So it won't.
Is that something you can do down the road?
We could do it. I'm afraid to do it just because the flipper, as it is, uses essentially the latest standards available in HTML5. So that animation has only come out in the past year. And I'm interested to see how it would actually behave when you're doing some sort of rotation like that and doing the flipper. But I mean, it is possible. You know what you could do in the time being? You could have a zone, if you're using Broadstreet as an ad server, you can have a zone, a rotating zone, and target 3 of those flipping ads to a zone and make it a rotating zone, and then that actually just might work naturally. But I can't be entirely sure.
Would be about the same thing of what I'm asking?
Yeah, essentially.
And then because it's 3 flipper ads, it would be $30.
I don't think the flipper is $10. Let's take a look and see what the flipper is. It's $5, so it would be $15 a month if you had 3 flippers going.
Well, this is a lot with selling flippers and things like that.
Got it. Yeah, any other questions? Any feature requests? Any ideas for ads that you'd like to see? So that was a good example. So I'm going to keep that in mind. Like I said, if we can actually get it to work in the browser, that's kind of the big holdup. To see if I can actually get that working. That's always like I said, we do a lot of cross-browser testing and all those things. So with this, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, for an up-and-coming publisher, what ad format would you suggest beginning with? I was the person that asked the question about the Weebly hosted site. I'm interested in trying to figure out exactly where to begin as an advertiser. So what ad format do you think would be the best for me to begin with?
Right, just to get started, I mean, I would go with something that doesn't require any design. So the flipper, obviously, this is just an example, but it requires that kind of classic traditional 300 by 250 ad that you might get from an agency or a designer. But the coupon, for example, all you need is text. So I would go with either the coupon or that new ad that I displayed before. What kind of advertiser are you working with?
The advertisers that I'm going to be pulling on are going to be small business owners. I am the editor-in-chief of a publication that is a platform for urban businesses in Chicago. So it would be restaurants. It would be people who are music artists who are just starting to get on the music scene. So I think images may be better or even coupons would be a great thing to do because they are small businesses who are offering their services through my publication.
Right. So actually, so that ad format I showed before, and actually I'll go right to the Facebook community group. If you haven't joined the Facebook community group, I definitely recommend it. We're 270 members strong, and we get all kinds of feature requests. You could see 49 minutes ago somebody requested a feature.
So what do you mean when you say feature request?
It's basically if you have an idea for an ad format, or sometimes people have a feature request for the actual ad platform itself. So Broadstreet Community is kind of where you get to actually meet publishers, if only virtually. And a lot of publishers ask questions. They say, here's Teresa. She says, does anyone use a CRM to collect ad sales data? So Broadstreet Community is like where basically, it's a group of other publishers just like you, a lot of indie publishers who, kick around questions, give each other feedback and things like that. So I might actually suggest an ad like this. This is the one we just came out with. It's called the lazy ad. Or there's another one. This one's called the lazy ad, or the box with the ribbon. All you need is the text and a photo. So maybe you only have a photo from the advertiser. Just upload that. And that's really easy to set up. You don't need a designer, and then you can customize this. If it's a restaurant, maybe you can say, special menu item.
Okay. Can we change the color of the ribbon?
Yep. So let me go back. I'll give you. All right, cool. It's right here. So before I created that gigantic house ad, we'll go back here, and we'll change the color. I'll just make it blue. It's not going to look great because I'm just picking a random color, but we'll go like that. And what else should we change? Ribbon message. We'll change that to change to say new menu item. And we'll go back and save it. So now hopefully it'll be blue. Say new menu item. There you go. So it can, any photo that you want, and any text that you wanted to say, and of course you can modify the text down there too.
Right. Okay.
So actually, I'm seeing another question, 015. Are any of these ads text/photo updatable? So if you give the advertiser a login, they can go and they can update the text. And if you're thinking in terms of editable ads or initial product, can they update it from Facebook and Twitter? It's a feature we've thought about, but we're really focused on LaserBeam being the method to do that. So almost, I'd say the large majority of these ads are going to be updatable once LaserBeam comes out. So I said before, imagine the real estate agent can update this photo from an app on their iPhone. Maybe they just walked out of the house, they snap a picture, add a filter, of course, because it's got to look good. Upload it via LaserBeam, and this goes live instantly.
Kenny?
Yep.
Can you hear me? This is Maggie in Seattle.
Hey, Maggie.
Hi. Do you see this that you have on your screen? Do you see this kind of replacing the editable ad?
So that's a great question. Eventually, it will replace the editable ad. That is the plan, and there's a reason behind that. And if anybody's interested, right now we're pulling from Facebook, which has proven unreliable in the past. Not for all advertisers, but occasionally for some advertisers, the setup becomes more difficult. So we think that if we make it an iPhone app and an Android app, and the advertiser can upload it that way, not only can they pull from Facebook, but from their iPhone, they can post to Facebook, they can post to Twitter, they can post multiple ads on the site. So we do see it as the second iteration of editable ads, and eventually the replacement for editable ads.
Good.
All right, so I'm seeing another question with the scratchy. I'm concerned a reader will scratch once and then never again because they'll think there's nothing new underneath. What do you suggest? So let's go back to the, I don't know if I actually created a scratchy ad. Let's just create one very quickly. Scratch off, create a new ad. Let's create the new advertisement. Like I'm just using the defaults that I had available before. There we go. So, you know, when I scratched off, you can see, okay, 20% off at Tom's Hard Antiques. Now, this is actually just text that you can customize underneath. So I can change that. So I would say it might be interesting to keep the message new, and just let the readers know that it might be something new. Everything free this weekend. All things must go. Closing sale. Okay. All right. And then we come back here. So you can say, you can change the message pretty quickly. You can also have an image underneath if you want to make it a little fancier. You can change the background color and all that. But generally, I would say keep the message fresh. Like I said, you can give the advertiser a login and they can change the message. But it's all, I think that'd probably be one of the best ways to do it.
So on that scratchy, the top is always the same. It's that template that you have up there, the pink with the scratchy. Or can you change that?
You can change that. So you can actually, if you have a designer, we kind of just put that there to kind of look like a classic lottery sketch off, but you can actually change it to anything that you'd like. So if you wanted a 300 by 250 scratch off ad, we just set the dimensions by default to 300 by 360, so it kind of had that long look like a scratch off ad too. But you can just say, okay, 300 by 250, and then maybe we'll just do an example. We'll go to our little ads right here. Let's just pick something boring for the front of the scratch off.
That's pretty boring.
Yep, I wouldn't scratch it. Let's see, we'll wait till it's done processing. It's generating a few sizes in the background, so sometimes it takes a couple minutes. So get back here. In fact, maybe we'll change the color underneath. I'll change the background to be black, or I can just say black, and then the text will be white. Update the advertisement. Okay, there we go. So you can change that front image too. And then actually, I think you can set once the user scratches most of it off, if you set a link, this will become clickable. So maybe it's a link to some place where they can kind of redeem it, or maybe just the advertiser's website or something like that. All right. So it's almost an hour in, so I don't want to keep anybody. But if there are any other feature requests, just let me know. And otherwise we'll shut it down in about a minute. So any other feature requests, let them fly. Or comments or questions. Of course, those are important too. So. All right.
Just a quick question. It's Rick.
Sure.
On the roadblock ads, can you have multiple advertisers using the roadblock ads, or does it just have to be one advertiser? Right. You can have multiple advertisers using the roadblock ads. So the way you would do that is a lot like you would do with a regular ad, where you let's just say you have a zone on the page. You can target 3 roadblock ads to that zone. Executed at any given time, so you can be sure that they're not going to have 2 roadblocks pop up at them, and so you can have as many roadblock ads on that page as you want, and you can also set the rate limiting on each one and say this user you should only see it once a day or something like that. You only see one advertiser's roadblock ad a day, or you can see each of the 3 advertisers once a day. Right. So you could see each. You can set it to however you would like, but you can have as many roadblock ads as you would like. Only one will appear at any given time, and you can set the rate at which the user will actually see each one. So maybe one only appears once every hour, maybe one appears once every 5 minutes, which would be really annoying. Maybe one appears once every day. So you can have multiple roadblock ads. You can also set how frequently each one appears. Okay, thanks. Yep. All right, any others? All right, in that case, it is 5:01, so thank you to everybody who joined the webinar. If you have any questions, just email me, kenny@broadstreetads.com, anything that maybe you wanted to ask or didn't get a chance to ask here. Hope everybody enjoys the evening. Again, thank you for joining, and of course, get started with those ad forms. Easy, and if you need any more help, just reach out, kenny@broadstreetads.com. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you.
Yep.
We can now.